How's it going, everybody? It's Stas here. Welcome back to another video. So the stock market was a roller coaster ride today, guys, all over the place. S&P 500 down 0.4%, Dow Jones up 0.1%, and the Nasdaq 100 also went down 0.4% on the day. And today we're going to be talking more about the stock market, breaking down some technicals, going over a bunch of stocks to buy now, and I also want to share with you guys what I did in the stock market today, stocks I own right now, and in general where my head is at as a trader and as an investor. So if you guys find value in the video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, make sure to also join the Strive Smart Discord chat and the Facebook group, and claim your 4 stocks from WeBull. All of those are free, keyword free, and linked right down below in the description box. So let's talk what happened today. It was a crazy day to say the least. S&P 500 gapped down about 2% from Friday's close at 37.12 all the way down to 36.36, where it was here at 10:30 a.m. on the East Coast. That was over, again, a 2% drop. And what you guys notice is on the 5-day, 5-minute, if I pull that chart up, we actually hit a lower low in the past 2 days on that massive drop. But notice how we actually recovered, a V-shaped recovery, and we made up almost all of those losses. We only closed down 0.4% after being down about 2% earlier in the day. So what that means to me is, yeah, the bears, they made their money in the morning, but the bulls pretty much won the rest of the day. And what really confirms that to me is this hourly chart. Take a look here, guys, on the hourly chart. We actually held the 180 SMA on the hourly chart and a higher low from the previous low, which was at about 36.30, right? So we held about 36.40 this morning, higher low. We held the 180 SMA on this hourly chart, and now it looks like we're gunning for 37.12 again, 37.10 again, which is the resistance from Friday and from back in the beginning of December on the 9th of December. So are the bulls in the clear now? Are the bulls going to take over and rally from here? It's not 100% certain quite yet, because take a look here on the 5-day, 5-minute. This is a thing that is a bit worrisome, a point that's a bit worrisome in my eyes. We got rejected at about 3,700 today twice, and we failed to break out of there at the close of the market. And notice how that was a general level of support on Friday. So we're trading under a low of the day, one of the lows of the days from the day of Friday. So for me, guys, for the confirmation that, okay, bulls are going to take complete control, I would need to see this 5-day, 5-minute downtrend break in the past 2 days. And by break, I mean us getting over 3,700 and, quite frankly, out of 37.12. If that happens, all right, the bulls are going to be full head of steam and we'll probably get another all-time high. But until then, there's still some risk, honestly, that the S&P 500 could see another dump off. Who knows? If we get rejected at 3,700, which again is that pivotal point. So watch for 3,700 tomorrow. If we get rejected there, we might be going lower. But if we see a clear-cut breakout above that point, or if we gap up above that point at the open tomorrow, Tuesday morning, that could be a breakout sign as well. So watch out for that point on the S&P 500. When it comes to SPY, an ETF that tracks the S&P 500, same thing. You guys see here in the past couple of days, we've been in this general little downtrend, 2.5 trading days now. I need to see a break out of this and above 370. If we get above 370 SPY, that is where I think we could be getting back to breakout territory, right? And notice, just like SPX, SPY held the 180 SMA here, 4-hour chart at about 363. It was a higher low, generally speaking, here on this 4-hour chart. So again, we're seeing a good sign from the bulls recovering this market into the close of the market, or for the majority of the day, other than that first little hour there where we saw the sell-off. We're seeing the bulls doing great, but they haven't broken out fully from this little downtrend in the past 2 days. So watch out for 370 on SPY. Dow Jones Industrial Average here. Take a look on the 5-day, 5-minute, what is going on. Actually, more on the 10-day, 30-minute, you can see it. Actually, no, I'm wrong again. 20-day, 1 hour. Notice how we're still trading in that horizontal channel that we were talking about last week, right? We ended up holding 29,800. We gapped up, filled it to about 30,250 and now we're at about 30,200. So for the bulls to get full head of steam on the Dow Jones, well, you guessed it, we need to break 30,250 and honestly 30,300 and above. If that happens, I think maybe 30,500 is in reach. Maybe 31,000 in the next couple of weeks is also in reach if the Dow breaks 30,300. So watch out what it does in this horizontal channel on the hourly chart. That is very, very pivotal for direction overall on the Dow Jones. And the Nasdaq 100, take a look here, guys. It ended up selling off. We hit a high at about 12,800 on Friday. That was an all-time high. We ended up selling off on Friday, and notice how we held the old all-time high on Friday at 12,650 as a new support. Or as a support, and we rallied into the close, right? So that on Friday was a very good sign for the bulls. But hey, the bears, they woke up pretty groggy this morning on Monday, and they gapped right under that 12,650 level of support. But we held 12,500. Notice how we held 12,500, which was another big level of support on the Nasdaq. We ended up rallying back up to 12,650. We broke that resistance, and now we held above it as a new support as we closed at about 12,690. So what this is telling me is bulls are gaining momentum on the Nasdaq. It's good that the Nasdaq broke that resistance, but overall today, the past 2 days, we're still in this downtrend. You guys can see it. So I'd like to see Nasdaq 100 most likely break into, let's say, 12,700, and from there, that is where we might be gunning for those highs again. So overall, that is what I'm seeing in the markets. We also got the stimulus. It's official, $900 billion stimulus package that was reached on Sunday. And while the plan is roughly half of the size, if you guys remember, back in March, we got a $2.2 trillion package. While it's about half of the size, it is still one of the largest relief packages in modern history. And I believe 2.2, it was the largest one that we got back in March. I could be wrong, but I believe, if I'm not mistaken, that was the largest stimulus package in history. And now we've added about $3 trillion rather to the debt. It's crazy. It's a lot of money printing, and we might see in the future, a rise in these precious metals, which we'll go into here in a second. I actually have a position in SLV. We'll talk about that in a second. But now that we're seeing the devaluation of the dollar, what we're going to see is maybe precious metals will do well, and we're going to see asset prices go up. Stocks, real estate, that's likely what's going to happen here in the short term. So let me know your thoughts down below in the comments. I would love to know if you're buying stocks, selling stocks, are you in cash, your thoughts on the markets, and so forth. And now let's talk about what I personally did today, and it was a pretty crazy day for me as well. And one of my positions here after hours is gapping up like crazy, and I'll talk about that here in a couple minutes, so stay tuned. So the first thing I did was I ended up adding more SBE, Switchback Energy, more to my position. If you guys remember, I got in, on Thursday or Wednesday or Thursday last week, I got in at 35.80, an initial position, and we saw that nice pop on Friday. So yeah, I think I got in on Thursday. We got that nice pop on Friday, and I didn't lock in the profits. And I was thinking to myself, crap, maybe I should have locked in the profit. But then again, I was like, there's a lot of more upside in this stock, to the point where I'm comfortable holding on to my shares. So I got in at 35.80, did not lock in the profit on Friday when it got to 37.50, held on, and I actually added more to my position today at 36, or what was it? Yeah, 36.90. I actually added more to my position today. I believe it was right here, 36.90. And then literally, guys, no joke, out of nowhere, this stock went bananas, and I called this out on in the Discord chat. Again, make sure to get in there. It's free of charge. I said, guys, I'm buying more SB. I'm looking at SB. It looks pretty good. And you have to realize at this point in time, the markets were getting decimated. Remember, the S&P was down 2%, 1.5%. Dow Jones, Nasdaq, they were all down. And SB was green pretty much, or break even, right around the green area. So it was holding up pretty well. And then I added again into 36.90, and we saw this massive pop from 36.90. Literally, once I bought, it was crazy. The timing on this was absolutely nuts. Once I bought up to about 39.50, it moved up, 39.30. It was a 6% move in the snap of a finger. I mean, take a look here on the intraday chart. Unbelievable short squeeze there, whatever you want to call it. And then we started selling off, and that is where I locked in the profit at $38.45. So I ended up getting in and out of SB today. Well, the shares I bought today, I was in and out, but I held shares from last week, and now I'm completely out of the position. I made about, I think, close to 5-ish% on this position, maybe a little bit less, but great position, great trade overall there with SBE. And honestly, guys, I think there's more potential in this. Just because I locked in profits doesn't mean I'm bearish on the stock. In fact, I'm going to add more, or buy more into it, or buy back into it rather, if it breaks $40, $41, as I think at that point it could end up filling the gap up to $44, and I can see that happening easily. But I just wanted to play it safe today. I could have held my shares. Yeah, I could have held my shares, but I wanted to play it safe and just lock in the profit, go to cash, and wait and see tomorrow, the rest of the week, what happens here with switchback. So I did that today. And Apple, oh my gosh, Apple today, unbelievable, went up 1%, and now after hours it's up another almost $3 because we got news that, guess what, an iCar, you heard me right, could emerge in 2024. I mean, take a look. The stock went up from 128.20 to 132. That was a move of 3% after hours. Now it's up about 2.5%. So this is pretty big. I mean, that's going to be interesting when it comes to other car dealers out there, car manufacturers, car producers like Tesla, right? Big old Tesla. That's going to be interesting. Apple iCar versus Tesla. I mean, I'm assuming it's going to be an EV. I mean, what are they going to make? Combustion vehicle? I mean, a gas engine vehicle? Apple? I doubt it. They're going to make an electric car, and we're going to see how that ends up competing with Tesla and all these other companies. So I'm super pumped about that. I'm in Apple at 112, and I sold some last week at 127.3, and I'm letting the rest of my position ride. And honestly, I don't really intend on selling it unless we get to 138, maybe this week. If that happens, I mean, that would be pretty overbought, pretty quick move in a short amount of time, and I'd consider locking in there. But I'm still also considering holding on to it if it just, slows down a bit, hovers around 128, 132, 130. I'm not looking to sell there. I'm just going to hold on, if that makes any sense. So I'm in SB, not in SB, locked in on SB. I'm in Apple. I'm still in Workhorse at 22, which hasn't been doing much, holding on to that one at this point. And SLV is another one that I'm in, which gives me, like I said earlier, exposure to silver, which silver is a very quick moving, let's say, precious metal. You have silver, you have gold. They're the two main ones. And gold is great. It's the safer one, quote unquote, but it doesn't have as much upside. It doesn't have as much volatility. Silver, on the flip side, has more volatility, has more upside, and that's what I want to be in right now. Again, because of this money printing, devaluation of the dollar, all of the debt, I think it's a good place to be in. Silver, precious metals in general, not with all of your money, not with 100% of your money, at least in my opinion, right? This is not financial advice, but I think it's good to be in with maybe 5% of your overall money, maybe 10%, maybe 20% if you're a bit of a, maybe you're a doomsdayer, maybe 50%. Or if you're a gold bug, maybe 100%, right? It's all up to you. It's all relative. But for me, It's about 5%, and I'm in a little bit with SLV. I have physical gold, so I'm good on that end of the spectrum. And I'd love to know what you guys are doing. And while we're at it, let me know in the comments. I mean, do you have gold, silver? Are you against precious metals? Are you in the Bitcoin family? Bitcoin's been crushing it. Hit 24,000 the past couple of days, which is unbelievable. Let me know your thoughts in the comments and what you have been doing as well in the stock market. I would love to know, guys. So let's talk about now a bunch of stocks, starting off with Nike. Forgot to go over Nike's earnings. Might as well do it now. They had EPS of 78 cents versus 62 cents estimated, and revenue came in at 11.2 billion versus 10.56 billion estimated. So a nice double beat there on Nike. I'm not too sure what they did when it comes to guidance. You know, the management team, I have to look deeper into that. But we're seeing here Deutsche Bank actually raised Nike's price target from 151 to 161, reiterates a buy rating, and Tesla Advisory, which I have no idea who that is, but we'll go with it. They also raised the price target from 155 to 175, and they're keeping an outperform rating on the stock. So, hey, analysts are pushing up the stock, and I don't buy just because an analyst is saying buy it or raising the price target. That's stupid in my eyes to buy based off of analysts, but it's never a bad thing to see your analysts pumping up, or not pumping up a stock, but, you know, putting a buy rating, outperform rating. That's the overall good sign. I mean, if you see a stock with a sell rating, they're putting an underperform on it, typically that's going to influence the stock a little bit in the short term. I mean, it's going to steer some people away who do solely buy based on analysts, and it's a pretty interesting spot to be in, whether or not you're looking at analysts or not looking at analysts, whatever. It's not everybody's cup of tea. You know, it's all relative. Like I said before with gold, it all depends on your preference, but for me, I don't really take analysts' opinions too much into consideration. But again, it's decent when you're seeing them put a buy rating, you know, because overall the masses see that and they're like, oh, maybe I should buy some Nike, and then the stock goes up. Not all the time, but for the most part. Or sometimes. We don't know exactly how much. But anyway, I'm rambling. And Nike, at this point in time, it's looking decent. I mean, it hit 148, pulled down to about 144. I'd like to see it closer to 140, around this 50 SMA. I think that could be a dip buy here on Nike, maybe for a move back up into the mid 140s, high 140s. So I'm watching Nike there. AMD, Advanced Micro Devices, is one that has been under the radar. I mean, I haven't seen a lot of people talking about it. I haven't seen many people trading it in the Discord chat, but AMD is tuning up to be a nice opportunity right now, in my opinion. We recently hit an all-time high, a little bit under $98, $97.98 to be exact. We hit that all-time high. We broke out of the resistance at $94, which was also a good sign. And now we're seeing a bit of a retracement. And me being a swing trader, I like to buy into momentum. Sure, I love buying into momentum, but I also like seeing stocks that go down and maybe buying them on the dip. And this is one that I'm looking at the dip and I'm like, hey, that's a pretty good opportunity. Down 5% from its high. Seems like it wants to hold $93, $94. It's holding the uptrend as of today's session here on the 4-hour chart. Based on this trend line, it's holding that uptrend. And honestly, I need to see a break above $94, and it's a go for me. If we break $94, I'm going to set an alert here, as a matter of fact. If we break that point, $94, it could end up gapping back up to an all-time high, I think. That's my honest opinion. And let me actually scoot that up a bit. Maybe put it at about $94.50. I'll replace that, add it there. So yeah, look at AMD. I think $95 could be a breakout spot to maybe $100. That's a nice little $5 per share move. And Neo today, guys, went ballistic. It went up 5%, and that's not the best of it. I mean, yeah, it went up 5%, but earlier in the day, it was down to about $44. What was it? $45, $44 pre-market. So we literally covered insane ground, not just 5%, but we covered over 10% from the pre-market low to where we got right before the market closed at about $49.50. So massive move in NEO today. I did not buy NEO, and I've mentioned on the channel, I could buy into NEO here. I think there is opportunity for a swing trade, but since I already have exposure in my long-term accounts at pretty good cost prices, cost averages, I don't want to force it in my swing account as well because I don't want to be too heavy on NEO. But today's price action, for those that are looking to swing trade it, and who knows, maybe tomorrow I'll day trade it, hop in on some momentum, but today's price action was amazing. We see it broke $48. We closed above $48, which is a level I've been talking about a lot here on the channel. That was a resistance from back in the beginning of December, all of December at this point. And the fact that we broke it, we took it out today, that is entering us into the next channel here, which if I extend this to the right, you'll see we might be going up to the mid-50s now. I know it's crazy, but we've seen about a month of consolidation, some bouncing back and forth on NEO from about $42 to $48, $38 a couple times. So we've seen a lot of bouncing up and down with no really direction, just trading horizontally. But now that we peaked above 48, we're picking that direction. We're finally picking that upside direction. And again, momentum's going to kick in my opinion, and we're going to make some money on NEO. I think it's going up above $50, maybe even this week. I don't like giving too many short-term price predictions. I like talking about the trend. I'm not the type of guy to be like, this is going to $51 in 2 days. This is going to $61 in 5 days. No, that's not what I do. But the fact that it broke this resistance, I could see it going to the 50s, guys. I could see it happening, honestly, this week, maybe even tomorrow. We'll see. And I could be wrong again. Do your own due diligence. Don't buy based on my opinion. You have to do your own research, guys. So that's NEO. Run is another one. Sun Run here just broke above a resistance. Same like NEO, very similar. $64 here on Run has been a resistance for months, ever since the middle of September. And now that it broke that point, I think it's a clear run to maybe $69.50 to $70 per share here on Sunrun. That gives it about 4% upside from where it is right now. And notice how the resistance, that 69 resistance, was a resistance from back in the end of November. So watch out for the squeeze up to about $70 on Sunrun. I think it's coming, and above there we could break out and go high 60s. Obviously high 60s if we get to 69, but above 69, maybe low 70s, maybe mid 70s. That's the type of potential here Sunrun has. And notice how it went up 5% on a day where the markets were red. That's showing strength overall in this stock. So watch out for the move upwards. FSLY is another one very similar to Sunrun and very similar to NEO, where it just broke a big resistance recently. FSLY broke $98. Now it's trading above 100, closed at about $101, holding that 40, or not the 40 SMA, this 50 SMA overall on the 4-hour chart. And seems like we're holding $100, $101 pretty nicely as well. So I think FSLY has a decent amount of upside. It has a pretty good amount of upside, honestly, about 12 to 15% from $100 roughly to maybe $115, where it was back in the beginning of August, maybe where it was back in the beginning of October as well. Notice last time it went to 115, it broke 115, and it went to 136. So there's a lot of upside here, technically speaking, on FSLY. And I just want to bring it to your attention. So watch out for this stock, FSLY, no doubt in the next couple weeks into 2021. There's potential. We talked about SB before, how we made a good amount of money today on that, and how the pattern's looking pretty bullish. Well, Blink Charging is another one that's looking very bullish. And like I said before, I like swing trading. That's my style. I like buying on the dips, right? Stocks that are on a dip like AMD, but I also like sometimes buying into momentum, and we're seeing a ton of momentum on BLNK right now. Blink Charging. You can see if I extend this to the right, notice how, yeah, it's not at a dip. I mean, it's not. I mean, we're close to highs, but we just broke out of $36.50, $37, which was a resistance from back in the end of November, and that's been the resistance I've been talking about here on the channel. So who's to say we don't squeeze up to $40+ $45 on Blink Charging? I mean, I think that's what's going to happen. And again, don't take my word for that. It's likely to not happen. It might not happen, or it might happen. Nobody knows. But now that we're seeing the break, I can see momentum drive us to maybe $40, $41, before we then again see a pull down. And who knows how far we pull down after that point, because if we do pop up a bit higher, we might be at an overbought spot. I mean, we will be, according to the RSI. We might be at about 80 on the RSI, which might be a bit overbought, a little bit too overbought for my liking. But watch the momentum overall here on Blink Charging. Another one is NNDM, guys. This one went berserk today, up 17.6%, up $1.26, and it's one of those we called out yesterday. We nailed this call out. I didn't trade it today. I mean, I made my money on SB, and one thing that I don't like doing, guys, is over trading. Usually when I make a good profit one day, yeah, I mean, you're always tempted. You're always tempted to get into another stock, make even more money, but I try not to do that because there's always the risk that you give back the profits that you made earlier in the day. You give that back to the markets, and then you're in this vicious cycle. You made profits in the morning, you trade afternoon, you lose the money, and then you're like, oh crap, I got to make that money back. Then you get into another trade. It's probably a bad trade. Then you lose that money. Now you're in the hole for the day. You see how that works? I mean, it's a pretty slippery slope for the most part. I mean, sometimes it works out, making tons of trades in a day, but for me, I like keeping it simple. If I make a nice profit on the day, I'm just going to sit back, chill, not do anything else for the most part, unless I see a screaming opportunity. And in my opinion, by the time I saw NNDM, it was a bit overbought, didn't want to chase it, and now it's very overbought in my opinion at 840. I mean, yeah, it's still bullish, the trend. There's still upside in my opinion overall, but in the short term, I'd love to see a pull down on NNDM, maybe to about, let's say, $8. I mean, hey, if it pulls down to $8, loses about 30 cents a share here, 40 cents, that would be a decent pull down. But even better, it would be about 740 to 750. If it were to pull down mid-sevens, I'd be a buyer in that range. But again, at this point, I don't want to chase it too much, even though it could go higher. And maybe I leave some money on the table. It's all right, because again, we made our money on SB, and I'm sure Apple's going to be printing money for me tomorrow as well. So we'll see how it goes down, guys. But NNDM looking good, but I don't want to chase it. Maybe, just maybe, we'll wait for the pull down. And one last stock here, JP Morgan. Bank stocks are looking pretty strong heading into 2021, right? We obviously have the EV stocks. We have a lot of these energy companies as well, Exxon, and not even just the traditional energy companies. We're looking at, these EV charging companies. A bunch of these are looking pretty strong heading into 2021. And same with banking. I mean, I'm looking at this as the economy's recovering, economy's getting stronger, banks will get stronger. I just want to keep my eyes on JP Morgan. I mean, we saw a big pop today, up about 0.4% or 4% rather, not 0.4%, 4%, which is a pretty big day for a bank stock. And we have earnings coming up in the middle of January. So this is one to keep an eye out on, right? If we pull down maybe to 120, that could be a dip buy. Maybe at about 119, 118, that could be a dip buy on JP Morgan. Or maybe it trucks up to 130 and we can gain some money there on the momentum. But overall, JP Morgan's bullish. It's looking bullish. The trend is. Bank of America is looking pretty bullish. So I'm keeping my eyes on the banks. And again, traditional energy. I mean, I made some money last week on Exxon, XOM. This one's pulled down a decent amount since we sold it and locked in the profits. I believe that was on maybe Wednesday or Thursday last week. and it's holding the 180 SMA 4-hour chart. So this could very well be a dip buy on Exxon. So I'm keeping my eyes there, heading into 2021. Occidental Petroleum's another one, OXY, and maybe even CVX, which is Chevron. That could be another one to keep an eye out on when we're talking about energy, oil, and so forth. So that's it for this video, guys. I hope you all enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to go down below, hit the like button for me, subscribe to the channel. We're so close to 20,000 subscribers. That is the goal for 2020. And make sure to also join the Discord chat, the Facebook group, and claim your 4 free stocks from WeBull. And you notice the key word here is free. All of those links down below are free, so go take advantage of those. I'll link the 4 stocks from WeBull in the description box, and I'll pin a comment in the comment section. I'll catch you all in the next video. Thanks for watching. As always, stay safe out there, guys, and keep crushing the markets. Peace out. Have a good one.